Hello and welcome back to another Walking Dead video, and today will be my review for The Walking Dead Daryl Dixon, The Book of Carol, Season 2, Episode 3. And this episode is yet another improvement on the previous episode. And I give the last episode a lot of praise, so that shows how good this episode is. And this episode does a lot, I have to say, and I really like how this episode starts with a Madame Genet flashback. We find out the origins of Madame Genet. She's a cleaner in the Louvre, so she's a very humble beginnings character, and we see what the French government did. They were like, screw people, we are going to protect the art over everything else. It is a very interesting, big reveal about the origins and how France dealt with the outbreak, but also I'm a bit sad that we didn't get more of it. I really want more of the world falling. We got a big chunk of it in season 1, we got a little tease of it in season 2. Come on, give us more. I really want more. But sadly, I don't think it's going to be a thing that the Walking Dead universe ever fully explains. We get many flashbacks to the fall, but we never properly see it happen. And even with Fear, they just kind of skip over the fall. But moving past the intro, this episode perfectly balances the Carol and Daryl aspects and makes this episode mostly Daryl, which makes sense. This episode is the big Daryl fights the nest. We have to have that focus. And I'm really happy because the past 2 episodes were mostly Carol. Now she's in France. Her plot is now she's been captured by Madame Genet's people. She sees the variant walkers for the first time, and then her reaction to them are very underwhelming. I really dislike how Carol was introduced to the variants. It would have worked better as a surprise for her, other than her looking for a little hole and being like, oh, look, that's how variants are made. It really disappointed me. I really wanted more with Carol and the variants. Maybe we'll get a big chunk of Carol with the variants next episode, but we already have it spoiled for her, so it's not going to be this big shock. I really enjoy Carol continuing her manipulating everyone, and then she tries on Madame Genet, because Madame Genet finds out, okay, you're looking for Daryl, and I really enjoy that Madame Genet outsmarts Carol. This is like the first time in ages where we've had a character way smarter than Carol, and I really like how Madame Genet's she plays along. It's like, okay, Carol, I believe you, let's go kill Dixon. She takes him to the Louvre, they drive around, and then you have Madame Genet being like, one up, Carol, I know that you want to actually save Daryl, not kill him. And I really enjoyed that Madame Genet was smarter than Carol. We don't really normally get characters that can manipulate Carol, and characters that can outsmart Carol. I really enjoy Madame Genet. They did her so well in this episode. This episode really does Madame Genet justice. However, on the other side, they are very underusing Daryl. We're halfway through the season now, and he's had basically 2 cameos, 2 one-scene roles. What are they doing with Daryl? It really annoys me, because everyone Carol's interacting with, you can tell that because Carol's on the show, they've had to push some characters to the side. So they're introducing Lusang, so Madame Genet is getting less screen time. Daryl is basically non-existent. What is going on? I'm really worried that, are they going to just wipe out the original cast just to give Carol the big, she's now a leader? It is called The Book of Carol this season, so I really hope that they are not going almost Fear the Walking Dead season 4. Carol is basically Morgan coming in to wipe out the original cast so she can take over the show. But hopefully that will not happen. This is a thing for later episodes, but right now it is doing fine. The whole everything is great. And the next things I want to talk about, all on the Daryl Dixon side, and man, this plot is amazing. So first of all, okay, so we answer where Sylvie went. So she was arrested, and I was thinking to myself, ooh, Sylvie's getting a big chunk. I'm really happy they're doing something with Sylvie. And then big spoiler, do not keep watching it because I'm about to spoil it. Sylvie just falls over and dies, and I'm like, what? Okay, that was shocking. We had Emil last episode, Sylvie this episode. I'm really shocked. It just seemed very sudden. I'm a bit torn about this. I do not like how quick it was. I feel like if you're going to do something with Sylvie, maybe keep her around a little longer, then kill her off. However, I like how it feels like this show is anyone could die unless your name's Daryl or Carol. So I'm going to say I like it for now, but if there are more deaths and they are treated very similar to this, I might come back and be like, I don't like this death actually. But Sylvie's death was shocking and was mostly done well, because it leads to this big like emotional reveal where Laurent's about to be bitten, they reveal it's Sylvie, and you have everyone in the crowd being like, or should I say everyone? I mean Isabelle, Fleur, and Daryl. And then that leads to this epic fight scene in the nest. I have to talk about this. There is a whole scene where everyone's trying to escape. Daryl splits up to try and distract everyone, and you have Isabelle, Laurent, and Fleur trying to escape the nest, while Daryl goes on this one-man, like, militia. He's like an absolute Terminator, and there is a one-shot battle, like a whole where he works his way through this room killing people, and I didn't notice until quite a bit in, like, this is actually one shot. It is so well written, so well filmed. I just can't get over how good it was. It reminded me of the big one-shot scenes in the Daredevil series on Netflix. That is what it felt like. It was absolutely amazing. It was so well done. You could tell a lot of work's been put into that shot, and I just can't stop talking about it. Like, the whole nest thing, absolutely phenomenal. It was paced well. It is just so good, and I like how Daryl finally lost a fight. Like, I've been complaining a lot of times that Daryl feels invincible, and he does feel invincible in this. However, there's a point where they just absolutely swarm Daryl, and even though it's off screen him being beaten up, I like that Daryl finally lost a fight. It's a shame we didn't see it happen, but it's just great that Daryl's finally lost something. And it's not something you should be rooting for your characters, but with a character like Daryl, you want him to lose because he's just way too overpowered. Liu Song, absolutely amazing in the Daryl villain. Such a surprise villain. Just the nest is absolutely amazing. And there's some other things I do want to quickly talk about. So overall, the pacing, phenomenal. From start to finish, the previous 2 episodes always had this issue with one plot felt like it was rushing a little, or like last episode, both plots started great, but then one of them went too slow, one of them went too fast. This episode just doesn't have that. It is perfectly paced from start to finish. All the characters are well acted, it's engaging, it looks great, it's action packed. This episode has everything that you need for a fantastic episode or a fantastic TV show. Everything that you need is in this episode. And another thing I need to quickly mention is the dialogue, because The Walking Dead has always had the issue of not being able to say certain words, so at times, or at very emotional times, the dialogue always felt slightly clunky. This episode is dropping F-bombs left, right and centre, and it really helps with the dialogue, really helps with the scene, really helps with the emotion, and this episode is very emotional. I really enjoy the scenes Daryl has with Isabelle. I really like their relationship. It's absolutely amazing. Like the whole Firefly thing, talking about Ohio, and Daryl talking about how when they go back together, Isabelle can sleep in, they can see fireflies, they can watch the sunrise or the sunset at the river. It is absolutely amazing. I really, really enjoy that relationship. It's so believable. And at the end when they're both captured and they're just holding hands, absolutely amazing. I'm really happy Daryl's finally been able to have this relationship, because The Walking Dead never did it with Daryl. They're always too scared, and then when they did it with Leah, and it sucked. I'm really happy we're finally getting that. Shame it's not with Connie again. I really, really wanted Connie and Daryl to be a thing. He learned sign language for her, and nothing happened. But then we got this Isabelle thing, and it's absolutely amazing. This episode just is so great, and I've said that many, many times, but there's lots of little moments. Like, Carol calls Daryl her brother, and that's the whole thing. She's come out to go find her family. She just needs to find Daryl because he's the last family member she has left. And it's just very emotional. And I do have to talk about the ending. Absolutely shocking. As I said, Madame Genet outsmarts Carol. And then you find out that Madame Genet is going to infect a ton of people, turn them into variant walkers, and then charge them at the nest, while Daryl is trapped inside because of Liu Song. Just, I cannot wait for episode 4. Episode 4 is going to be this massive episode and be absolutely amazing. It's just going to be so cool. But now let's close up this review with my one sentence / one word overall review. And I have to say, this is a fantastic episode, and it is a 10 out of 10. This episode is near perfect. It doesn't have a lot of the issues that the previous episodes have. I really enjoyed this episode, but it's just my opinion, so please tell me down below. What did you think about episode 3? Did you love it? Did you hate it? I'll let you know all your thoughts down in the comments. So this is it for me today, so goodbye, peace out, and thank you for watching.